narrative you can think of in Web3. I have been able to work with top reputable brands in Web3. I'm also a public speaker, so I speak at events, conferences. I I also educate people in Web3, both online and offline. And lastly, I have a growing community of Web3 enthusiasts. So yeah, that's all about me. It's really nice to be here once again. So this is our third class. First week with okay, no, just have a like throw a question to everyone. So I'll be sure that we have been following and we understand what I've been teaching so far. I don't know why you can't hear me, but I want to ask a question. So can anybody just give a brief summary of what we've been learning, what we learned in the first class? Anybody, probably in 30 seconds to 1 minute, what you learned in the first class, where I talked about the evolution of Web3 and how we got here. I can't see any hands up. Oh, okay, I can see. All right. Goodness, let's have you. Goodness, or can we have you? What did you learn in the first class? Evolution of the Web3 and how we got here. Can you just give us a brief summary? It's Goodness talking because I can't hear her or him.
I don't
Anambra was
think she's talking. I think just go straight.
okay.
No, I
Okay.
can't hear her. I think just go straight to the Local Kings or
Okay.
Sisters, yeah,
Developer
anyone.
King. Yeah. Let's. Okay. What did you learn in the first class?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Anambra, good evening. So, what I learned from the first class was you gave us history about Web3, and you started with some highlighted points about what is the internet, and you made mention that the internet is a global network that connects the computer and devices. And you also made mention about the aspects of the internet, which you have the Web 1, Web 2, and the Web 3. And Web 1 is just the read only era, whereby it's just like articles reading out about newspaper online. Then for Web 2 is the social era, whereby it's the read and write era. So the Web 2 is more basically like our handles, our social media handles like the Twitter, Instagram, and all of that. Then the Web3 was, we talked about the decentralized era, which is the read, write, and owning your data or owning your assets or having ownership to your assets. And you said, you gave points about what changed and why the henceforth of Web3. And you said that the reason is that people want to have access and ownership and privacy to their own data. And you also give a point about how how blockchain fits in to Web3. And you made mention that blockchain is the technology that powers Web3. The blockchain is not Web3, but it powers Web3. So then you also give us pictures of the blockchain, and you said that one is ownership of digital assets, and two is security and transparency. Then three is it eliminates the middlemen. Middlemen in the sense that there's no need for you to send your assets to one man to a middleman before transferring to the next man. So it completely eliminates middlemen from the Web3. So this is in general, this is just a summary of what we learned on the first day. Thank you very much.
All right, that's very, very good. Very, very good. I'm so happy that you learned so much. Can we like give clapping hands to him? Okay. Let's move over to the second class that we had. Can everybody give a brief summary to the second class that we had? What you learned? I think we spoke about the fundamentals of Web3. Fundamentals of Web3. So what do you know as the fundamentals of Web3? What have you learned? Okay, let's hear from 6 to 6 are you there? Yeah, your I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay, since he's not
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
all right, yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. Good
Yeah,
evening, guys. Good evening, Anambra with three conference. Six to with three enthusiasts. So so far so good. We thank God. On the last class, that was the class on Wednesday. Taught us. You handled the fundamentals of Web three, where you talked about the smart contract and the basics of everything. We talked about the apps, tokens, and cryptocurrency. Then we talked about the different functionality, the different, we like call it divisions of functionality when it comes to tokens and cryptocurrency. Then you talked about NFTs, utility tokens, and governance token. So basically, you took most of your time uh, explaining to us about the different use cases for different aspects of cryptocurrency, different means of the different aspects that you talked about the fact that it's not a that you basically it was more about telling us that how broad the crypto space is all about and that it's not a very limited space. That was where you brought in NFTs, the utility tokens, and the governance tokens. So I think that was basically most of what I was able to grab during that last class.
all right, thank you very much. Yeah, that's basically what I said. I'll just have a brief rundown of what we did in the first class. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to prepare a slide for today. I've been so occupied. So for today, you would really have to pay a lot of attention because I won't be presenting or sharing my screen because I was able to create this slide. Okay. So for the first class, we talked about um the evolution of Web3 and how we got here. We talked about the evolution of Web3 and how we get here. I guess I'm audible, right? You guys can hear me. Okay. The first class, the evolution of Web3 and how we got here. We said, I think from what developer King said, you would see that we already explained and we talked about the Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. How Web 1 was read-only, Web 2 how Web 1 was read-only, Web 2 was read and write, and then Web 3, which is read, write, and own. So that was how the internet evolved to this place where we are now. And we talked about how Web 3 is coming to fix a whole lot of issues that Web 2 had. Talking about privacy, direct ownership to your assets, talking about a whole lot of things that Web3, sorry, has come to fix. Then we now moved over to the fundamentals of Web3, where we explained more in details what Web3 is. We talked about the core principles on which Web3 stand, which is decentralization. You cannot talk about Web3 and not talk about decentralization. You cannot talk about ownership. You must talk about ownership and self-sovereignty, trustless and permissionless, transparency and security, meaning Web3 is because Web3 uses the blockchain, it is transparent and it is secured. We also talked about what the blockchain is, talked about smart contract, and we said that smart contract is the backbone of Web3 apps. It is the backbone of Web3 apps, meaning most Web3 apps rely on the smart contract to run. Then we also talked about decentralized applications, they are the apps and tokens and cryptos. I had some people still ask me some question about tokens and crypto, and I think I already explained. I said there are different types of tokens. I mentioned cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum. I mentioned utility token, and I used the analogy of Anambra Web3 conference having a token made especially for just this boot camp for you to be able to pay and have access to the Bootcamp. Talked about governance, token, and NFTs. Yes. So that is that. Now, into today's class, we are going to be looking at the real world use cases of Web3. The real world use cases of Web3. I might have to be repeating a lot since you guys cannot see it. All right, the real world use cases of Web3. So, can Web3 actually be used in real world, or is it something that is just fictional? Can it actually be used in real world, or is it something that is fictional? So we want to see what are actually the real world use cases of this Web3 that we have been talking about. What are the real world use cases of this Web3 that we have been talking about? So the first one is decentralized finance. That's the first use case of Web3 and blockchain, decentralized finance. I think somebody in the last class asked what DeFi was. When you hear DeFi, this is what it means. It means decentralized finance. Now, the use case of decentralized finance, that is where you have cryptos and tokens, cryptocurrencies and tokens, where you can send money, you can save money, you can borrow, you can invest your money without a bank. You don't need the traditional system of banking. When it comes to decentralized finance, you have direct access to your money. You have direct access to your money. That is one of the real world use case of Web3, decentralized finance. It is making financial system decentralized, where you have direct access to your money. If you have been following, you'd mentioned one or two times the whole idea of you having access to your money 24/7. Doesn't need to be like traditional system where you have to wait till it's Monday before you can go to the bank and all of that. If there's an issue or if there's something urgently, you can have access to your money in the midnight, 2 a.m. You're up there. You don't need it eradicates that form of, oh, bank has closed. Sometimes I know sometimes when I was young, my mom wants to go and do something in the bank, and she's like, hey, before you know it's 4 o'clock has reached and bank has closed, all those kind of things. But Web3 is giving us the ability to have our finance decentralized, DeFi, decentralized finance, where we have access to our money 24/7. And apart from having access to our money, there are so many opportunities here in DeFi. You can invest money. Those investments that people do in traditional banking and traditional finance, it is also done in DeFi. It is also done in DeFi. There are so many places to invest your crypto, invest your tokens, and get rewards on them. It is also done in DeFi. So just imagine this whole thing as having your money, but then like the bank is just taken away. So that middle, Web3 talks about direct access. So that middleman, which is the bank, is being taken away. It is being taken away, and no one can block you, delay you, or charge you like crazy fees. So it is just you and your money. It is you and your bank. So you become your own bank with Web3. You become your own bank. You become the control of your finance. You have direct access and all of that. So with the Web3, you can save, you can invest, you can borrow. There are platforms that do lending and borrowing, just the way banks does it, where you go to take a loan and all of that. There are platforms that do lending and borrowing in DeFi, that's in the Web3 space. So everything you can think about in the traditional system of banking, Web3 has it, and it's even better. It's better requirements, with better instructions and all of that. So DeFi is the first use case of Web3, which is decentralized finance. Okay, I believe somebody got it. All right, moving on. Second real world use case of DeFi is NFTs and the creator economy. NFTs and the creator economy. These days, a whole lot of creators are coming up. on TikTok, on Instagram, everywhere. Everybody is now a creator, musicians, artists, and all of that. So this Web3 also, one of the reward use case of Web3 is NFTs and creator economy. Like in the last class, I think I explained what NFTs are, and I said it's not just limited to all those cartoon stuff that you see that you now say, oh, this is an NFT. NFT could be music, it could be game items, it could also be art. So that is how NFTs are. So think of NFTs like digital autographs. You own a unique version of something, like a rare trading card. I use that analogy of a ticket, for example, a ticket to a show or an event. Having a ticket gives you access to attending like the concert. That's how it is. So owning a specific thing, an NFT, that is how it is here. So you can keep earning cash each time it's resold forever. So when you have assets, I think the last time I explained how if a musician decides to make a music, someone should give me one music. Okay, can't even think of any name. Let's just give an example. Let's say a music now. A musician decides to make a particular music of his, an NFT. If you buy that NFT, if you own that NFT, you are indirectly part of the owners of that music. So if Davido has a song and he makes that song an NFT, you are indirectly the owner of that music too. So if they are saying owners of this song, you would also come out. Why? Because you have the NFT to that song. If Davido generates revenue from that song, maybe he now makes money off that song, you would also have the some interest on it. You would also have some revenue from it. Why? Because you are holding that NFT. So this is also a way to also generate income by holding NFTs. So creators can tokenize their music, they can tokenize whatever they do, their artwork. All these people that are good with art, their draw and all of that, they can just sell it up as an NFT and then people can buy. So this is also them creating money and creating revenue for themselves. So the second reward use case of Web3 are NFTs and the creator economy. So for people that are creators, for gamers, musicians, and all of that, this is a very good place to be in NFTs, creating NFTs of your work. Then the third one is Web3. Okay, I think somebody asked a question. I think I already explained it why I said the full meaning of an NFT. I don't think you were in the last class. Let me just, because you asked the question. I said NFTs are non-fungible tokens. NFTs. Sorry, can you mute? NFTs are non-fungible tokens. So they are like digital collectibles and improve ownership of unique assets. And I gave an example. I said if Davido makes his music an NFT, if you have that NFT, you indirectly are the owner of that music. It gives you access to ownership. So NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They are like digital collectibles and it proves ownership of unique assets like art, music, or game items. That's why I said this is for the creators. This is for like the creators economy. People that are into music, they're into arts, they're into games. Yes, they should be found in this NFTs category. So this is the second reward use case of Web3. Now the third one, which is Web3 social media. Web3 social media. Now, yeah, platform where you own your content, your followers, and even get paid for creating. So Web3 social media it gives you a platform where you can own your content, your followers, and even get paid for creating. let's use the example. Let's say Facebook or Twitter. You don't really own your content, because if Elon Musk takes down your account is gone, your content is gone, everything is gone. Nobody's going to see about it again. There's nothing like, oh, there's nothing like your content being there. But if it's a decentralized system where nobody can take down your account, obviously you own your content, because 10 years to come, 15 years to come, people would still see what that content is. People will still see what you posted there. Now, imagine if you left Instagram, but then your followers followed you to the new platform automatically. In Web3, there's like a unique identity. There's a unique identity. So you know how it is here now. You have to grow your Facebook, you grow your Instagram, you grow your TikTok and all of that. But in Web3, there's a unique and single identity, because in this Web2 social media era that we are seeing, everybody are different founders and different control of different platforms. But if it's in a world where everything is decentralized, there will be no need for that. So the followers you have on TikTok are still the same followers you will have on Instagram, are still the same followers you have on whatever platform, because it's just you're just one unique identity. Everybody is how would I put it? There's no control. There's no control. Nobody can say, oh, this is my platform or this is not my platform. It is open for everybody. So it's just one unique identity that you have. The followers you have on this place is still the same followers you have on the next place. Yes. So, and then you can also get paid directly for like every like or comment, because now you have direct access to this your platform. You have direct access to this your so someone says, so Web3 is better than Web2. That's what we have been saying. We're trying to tell you that, oh, Web3 is actually better than Web2. Okay, so that's the third real world use case. Web3 social media. Web3 social media is the third real world use case of Web3 and blockchain. All right, now moving on, gaming and play to earn. Gaming and play to earn. So here in Web3, here in Web3, games where play, please, this person that is typing is actually distracting me. I need to like, okay, please, can you not type for now? Okay. Games where players can own in-game assets and earn real value. A lot of us play games. We play a lot of games. Some people are gamers and they are so into games. So when it comes to Web3, you don't just play game for fun. You actually play game for fun and then you earn from it. You earn from it. So you spend hours playing a game, collect a rare sword, and instead of it being stuck in the game, you can sell it for real money. So in Web3 games, you can actually play and earn an NFT, and then you will now sell that NFT for real money. Instead of just playing your normal, for example, Candy Crush, and then getting all the ratings and all of that, that thing now can be changed to money when it comes to Web3. When it comes to Web3. So Web3, gamers can own their assets and they can earn real value from it. They can own their assets and they can earn real value from it. That is the fourth real world use case for Web3 and blockchain. I hope people are following. Let me just say the first four so I'll be sure that you're following. First one I talked about is decentralized finance, where our finance is now decentralized. It is no more the way traditional system is. Second one I talked about is NFTs and the creator economy. Talked about how artists, musicians, and creators can earn from these NFTs. Talked about Web3 social media, where you have access to whatever platform it is. There's no ruler, there's no control. Nobody can take down your account at any time. Nobody can give you the rules. You are your own boss. Then fourth one I talked about is gaming and play to earn. And I'm saying, instead of wasting your time playing and not earning from it, In Web3, you play and you earn from it. So you can earn assets, you can earn NFTs, and those things would actually have real value, meaning you can sell them online. Then the fifth one is supply chain and product tracking. Supply chain and product tracking. So tracking the journey of a product from origin to delivery. Tracking the journey of a product from origin to delivery. I don't know if you've ever tried to buy a honey before. Honey, and then you're like, is this even real honey? Are you sure these people, all those kind of things, you're like, is this product even real? You can't know, because that's like the Web2 system. But now in Web3, imagine that you want to buy organic honey. How do you know it's really organic and not mixed with someone's garage? So with blockchain, every step from bee farm to shelf can be verified and tracked, and no one can fake it. Remember that I said the blockchain is transparent, meaning you can see everything that happens on the blockchain. The blockchain is public. It is public. If a food industry is if a food industry is trying to produce probably a food or something, you would see their process. That's if we all make use of the blockchain, fake food and all these harmful things would be eradicated. Because why we all get harmed and all eat stuff that are trashy and threatening to our health is because we don't know the process through which they are made. We don't know the process through which they are made. But if this process of whatever they are doing is transparent and is recorded on the blockchain, we would see the process from the start to the end and would be sure of whatever we are consuming. So this form of, and this also affects food industry, luxurious goods, and when it comes to pharmaceuticals. So we are aware and we are sure of transparency, trust, and anti-counterfeits, meaning there's nothing like fake, there's nothing like I don't know the materials that are being used for this, because why? Every system is transparent. Every system is transparent. So are you seeing how Web3 and the blockchain is actually going to make our lives so better? There would be no need for I see, I'm sure that everyone who has like their dad or their mom always sending them that very all those very very long videos of how they caught somebody that is they're producing one thing from, I think there's one my dad sent me one time. I don't know whether that thing is cotton, but they were selling carrots and all they were doing was to paint something. I don't even know, but it was not carrot. So other stuffs like that, if you watch videos, you will just be shocked and tired of a lot of rubbish that we consume, a whole lot of rubbish that we consume. But if it's in the Web3 system where everything is transparent and public, we will not be scared because we know that, oh, whatever, we'll just check the blockchain and see how exactly this thing was produced and be sure of what we are buying. There will not be stuff like Abba-made and all of that. If it's Abba-made you want to go for, you know, oh, I'm going for Abba-made, not the one that are selling you Abba-made and they're telling you it's original. Yes, so all of those things are what Web3 and blockchain will come and is already coming to eradicate. So supply chain and product tracking is one of the use case of Web3. Then identity and access control. Identity and access control is the sixth real-world use case of Web3 and blockchain. So we see login and identity verification without usernames or passwords. I think this one, okay. Now, most times when you want to, let's remove the whole signing in with Google account. Before now, if you want to create an account for any product or any website, you have to create new password, new username, and all of that. You will not be writing it down. Okay, what's my password for this one? What's my password for this one? Because they said that you should not use password, same password for all sorry, for different websites. Now let's imagine this like this. Instead of remembering 10 passwords or logging in with Google, you use your crypto wallet as a universal digital password. So your wallet is like a passport for you. Your wallet is like a passport for you. It's like walking into any website and saying, oh, here's my key. And they just let you in securely because they know that this is a universal password. It's a universal passport. Sorry. It's a universal passport. So Web3 preaches that there is a specific identity for everybody, and that identity will be used across everything. Everything you do is one identity. It's just you and you. So it gives you control over different websites or platform or projects. When you go on there, you just say, oh, this is my key, and they recognize you because this is the same key. It's just like, oh, I know who you are because you're same person everywhere. That's the best way to put it. I know who you are because you're like the same person everywhere. So Web3 says that there's going to be a unique identity to everybody. That's your wallet gives you a universal digital passport. For example, if you have an international passport, a Nigerian international passport, that's like the passport you're going to use to travel across all other countries. Wherever you go, you show them the passport, they're like, oh, yes, you from Nigeria. That's how it's going to be. You're going to have a unique universal digital passport, and every other place recognizes who you are. It's a unique identity. Okay, moving on. Seventh one is decentralized autonomous organization. I don't know if you've heard of that, was decentralized autonomous organization. So these are online communities that make decisions together using voting. Remember when I explained and I said that there will be no central authority. And if there's no central authority, meaning there's no leader and there's no head, any decision that we are going to be taking, it means that we voted for it or we are going to vote for it. So decentralized autonomous organization, we are all decentralized, like the system is decentralized. So imagine if a group chat could run a business and every member could vote on what happened next. Remember when I said something about governance tokens? Imagine if Anambra Web3 conference has a group, okay, that's the way we are now, it's a group chat. For anything, any decision to take place, there must be a vote because he cannot decide what we will do. Another Web3 conference cannot decide what we will do because this is a decentralized autonomous organization. So if he says, he cannot even say it, everybody will decide, okay, what time would be best for this class? What time will be best? What platform should we use? Are we using Google Meet? Are we using WhatsApp? Are we making use of Telegram? All these things are things that would cast a vote on to ensure the one that is best for everybody. So that is decentralized autonomous organization. So if you're running a business and every member could vote on what happened next, there's no CEO, no manager, there's no head, just community-led decisions stored on the blockchain, meaning everybody, whatever decision that takes place is that we all chose it because we voted for it. So that is how decentralized autonomous organizations work. Decentralized autonomous organization work. So it powers, it preaches community empowerment, transparent decision, and borderless organization. It preaches community empowerment, transparent decisions, and borderless organization. All those stories of how would I put it now? All those stories of CEOs doing whatever they like and whatever they feel. Maybe, for example, if the CEO wants something from you and you know it's against your moral, before you know it now, the CEO can get angry and just sack you for no reason. No reason. So, but if it comes to decentralized autonomous organizations, everything is going to be transparent. That CEO does not, in fact, there won't be CEO because we are all it's an autonomous organization, meaning we are all, oh God, meaning we are all I don't know, somebody texted something and it distracted me. I said it preaches, let me go again. I said it preaches community empowerment, transparent decisions, and borderless organizations. Decentralized autonomous organization preaches community empowerment, transparent decisions, and borderless organizations, meaning that everything that we are running is going to be empowered by the community. The community. There is no head, there is no leader. If we are running a business, there is no CEO. It is by what the community says, what is best for us to actually move forward, what is favorable for everybody to actually move forward. And then we all cast a vote, and then we move on with what the community wants. Yes. Then we
Okay,
said
I
that the
got it.
decision, okay. We said that the decisions are transparent. The decisions are
Okay.
transparent, meaning there is no secrecy when it comes to this, because the CEO or the manager cannot they cannot do anything that is against what the community wants. They
Nobody
cannot
has
do
control over
anything.
it. Sorry.
Yes, they
All
cannot
right.
do anything that is against what the community wants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is the centralized autonomous organization. That was. Then the eighth one, which is the last one, is tokenization of real world assets. This is very, very interesting to me. Tokenization of real world assets. It means turning physical or traditional assets like real estate, gold, or stocks into digital tokens on the blockchain. Now, most of us want to own houses, we want to own gold, but then we don't have the money for it. But then tokenization of real world asset gives you that privilege of owning a house without actually having the full money for the house. Just the way I said something about NFTs, how you can own that music, but then it's like you have indirect access to that indirect ownership to that music. That is how tokenization of real world assets works. You can you can directly own real estate, gold, or stocks. Just the way stocks works, when you buy stock or shares of a company, you are like the owner of that company. That's how it works. But now this one now brings that company or that real estate or that gold, it brings it on chain. It brings it on chain, meaning it brings it on the blockchain.
Okay.
That real estate, that house, that gold, it brings it on chain as tokens. So if you own those tokens, you directly own the house, you directly own the real estate. Now think of it as owning a house like owning a big cake. Normally one person eats the whole thing, but what if you could slice the cake into 100 pieces and let others buy, sell, or invest in those pieces? So imagine an estate, let's say an estate now in Lekki, in Lagos. That estate now, the owner of that estate can tokenize that estate and say, okay, I want this estate now to be on chain. I don't want to be the only one that will own this estate. I want people to buy, sell, meaning that asset now can be broken down into 1,000 pieces. 1,000 tokens would form that estate. And then people can buy, they can sell, and they can invest. It's even giving you more revenue to your house, meaning apart from the rent you'll be collecting from people, you can also create more revenue. Because if your house is tokenized, if people are buying and selling, the more people are buying and selling, there will be the more people are buying and selling, the higher like the price of the tokens will be, because there's enough what's it called? There's enough volume when it comes to your token. So you can tokenize anything. You can tokenize your shop, you can tokenize your land, your gold, your house. You can tokenize anything. That is tokenization of real world assets.
All right. I
This
have a
way,
question. Sorry.
sorry, I'm not done. No.
Yeah.
This
Sorry.
way,
Sir. Go on, sir.
you can you can own gold, you can own houses, you can own cars. I heard that cars are now even being tokenized now. So owner of a car can tokenize his car, and then you can have access to that car, like have access to the ownership of the car, and then sell, invest, or buy the tokens of the car. Yes. Um, I think that's all. That is all that I have. That is all that I have. So you don't really need to be rich to invest. You don't really need to have up to um 10 million, 50 million to buy a land. You can buy a land with your 50,000, because that land can be tokenized on the chain. It can be tokenized on the blockchain, and then you can buy it and be owner of a land. Yes. So that is how it is. That is how it is. So I talked about okay, now that we've seen all the use cases from finance to art to gaming or identity, which one actually surprised you the most? Before we go there, let's have a rundown of everything, and then we can ask questions. People can give their contribution and their takes, and we'll call it a night. So everybody with their problems. Say job opportunity Web3. Okay, I've not gotten to that. Please let me just finish what I was saying. Um, oh God, now you have just made me. Okay. Now I wanted to give a rundown. So the first real world use case I talked about was DeFi. DeFi, and I explained how it's going to be eliminating traditional banking system, meaning you can save, borrow, invest your money without a bank. You have direct ownership to your bank. You have access to your money 247 and all of that. So no one can block you, delay you, or charge you crazy fee when it comes to DeFi. Then second reward use case I talked about are NFTs and the creator economics. I said for artists, musicians, gamers, creators, they can sell digital art or music directly to their fans, and they'll get paid instantly. Like I said, if Davido makes his music and NFTs, he can sell those NFTs to fans, and people will buy those NFTs. And that's the way that he's making money. And I said, if he actually generates more revenue for that music, you would also get some interest because you hold this NFT. Then Web3 social media, I talked about how you can own your own content, your followers, and even get paid for creating. And I said, if we remove with Web3 social media, people like Elon Musk on Twitter will not exist and dictate how you should use your social media. They cannot just suspend your account for no reason. I think they won't do that thing too on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn too, those owners cannot just waste your time, because imagine somebody spending so much time in growing their account, creating content and all of that, and then you just suspend it for no reason. So that one too, that is what Web3 is coming to make everything easier with social media. The fourth one I said is gaming and play to earn. So instead of wasting your time just gaming and not earning anything from it, Web3 is saying, okay, since you like game, why not still play your game and then earn from it? So you can actually play and you can own in-game assets and earn real value from it. So if you earn some assets, you can actually sell them as NFTs and people would buy. In the Web3 space, oh, people would buy. So fifth one is supply chain and product tracking. I talked about how we have so many issues of of fake products, harmful products, and all of that. But I said when it comes, if we make use of the blockchain, we'll be able to track the process from the beginning stage to the end stage. Meaning, we'll see when the person is about to use a fake thing, we'll see whether it's a scam or all of that. Then the sixth one is identity and access control. Use case, I talked about how you have a unique identity. You have a unique identity. You have a unique identity, meaning you can log in and verify without usernames or password. You can log in and verify without usernames or password. Then the seventh one I talked about is decentralized autonomous organization, where there is no leader, there is no head. There's no leader, there's no head. They're like online communities that make decisions together using votes. Using votes. So if any decision will be taking place, if any change will be taking place, we must all vote for it. You cannot just decide or manipulate anyone because we are all voting and we are all taking the decision. Then the last one which I talked about is tokenization of real world assets. You can be an owner of a land with just your 50,000 because those land and real world assets can be tokenized. Real estate can be tokenized, gold can be tokenized, stocks and all of that can be tokenized, meaning that you can own, you can invest, you can sell, and you can buy pieces of this reward asset that has been tokenized on chain. Yes, so I think that's the end of my class. That's the end of my
All right.
class. Thank you very
Thank you.
much, everyone.
I have a
If there's
question.
any
Sorry.
question, please wait. Please wait. If there's any
Okay.
question, let's ask. And yeah, all right.
Okay.
I
Should I
think
go on?
we should hand over to Anambra with the conference first.
Okay,
Then
good
we'll
evening.
regulate everything.
Hello.
I would like
Yeah,
to ask the questions.
Should I
can
go
you hear
on
me?
to ask this? Yes, I can.
Yeah, okay, yeah, go on with the question.
Okay, I am obviously innocent, so my question is this. Um the tokenized assets, how do one get to know the one that is tokenized so that he or she can buy a share from it and become part of the owner? How do we identify the ones that are tokenized already? Hello?
Do you mean like? Do you mean like seeing an asset and then I don't
Yes,
really get
yes.
your question. Sorry.
Okay, let me repeat my question. I said hello. Hello.
I can hear you. Please go on.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
go on,
said
we can hear you.
how do we found out an asset that is tokenized, like the cars you mentioned or estate? How do we know the one that is tokenized so that one can buy a part of the asset and become this thing a shareholder in it? Do you get the
Okay.
question now?
Yeah.
All right,
So you
all
can
right, all right.
actually look for okay. You can actually look for tokenized assets through some specialized platform. So you will not go to a building and be asking, is this tokenized or not? There are some platform that specialize in this thing. There are some platform that specialize in reward asset tokenization. So if you go there, you would see list of assets that have been tokenized on that chain. So some companies and platforms focus solely on tokenizing real-world assets. So there are some platforms
Okay.
that specialize
Uh,
on real-world
all right.
assets.
All right. I got it. But can you give example of one or two of those platforms where one can find such thing?
Okay. I think OpenSea, like if you go to like a Web3 marketplace, like OpenSea, Uniswap, or some DEX tools, you would see that they list tokens for reward assets. If you check some DEX tools, you will see reward asset, and then you can search them, like search the token by name or by symbol. You would see reward assets and all of that. Yes, so those are where you can
Okay.
find them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other question?
Okay, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello. Thank you for the class and what you've deposited in us. So, my question comes from the first reward cases which we have, which is DeFi. So, under DeFi, I learned that one can trade on it, you can borrow and lend money or invest rather. So I'm much more interested in the investment part. So here is my question. If for example I use 200,000 to invest, is there a chance of it dropping? Like when we talked about forex now, forex do rise and drop, something like that. is it related to decentralized finance also? That's my question.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, that's my question.
Okay, you said if you invest in DeFi,
Yeah.
if you invest in DeFi, okay, then you now said something about is there, sorry. Okay, you said
It
is there
has.
a way it can drop?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. Is there a chances that it's going to drop down the way this thing does forest?
Yes, there is actually.
Okay.
There is. There's a way it can drop because how this thing works, I think when I was explaining something about gas fee to somebody, I said it depends on the volume, it depends on the people, the supply and demand of or that is happening on chain. So if there's market fluctuation, if the value of like the reward assets drops or any token drops at all, then definitely it's there's a way that your money would also drop. So if a lot of people are selling off that particular token that you have, then there's a way that it will drop. But when it comes to investment, there are some platforms. Forgotten. There's this exact one where it's just for investing. So you don't really care what is happening on the market. You just invest. Do you get? So if you have 200,000 naira, instead of you buying a token and you hold the token to know if it will go up or go down, there are some specific places you can go and just invest your money. Meaning that you can lock your money. You know how we used to lock funds in all these quarry wise and all of that. Yes, you can lock your money and then you will get interest. You can get interest. You can lock your assets and then you get interest. That's also a form of investment. In case you don't want to buy or sell and all of that, you can just lock your money. Or you can also provide liquidity. You can provide liquidity. Providing liquidity meaning in a pool, in a liquidity pool. This is more technical, but then in a liquidity pool, you can go and lock some funds in that pool. Meaning that pool would like circulate. If you have money that you're not using, like you just want to keep this money somewhere, you can go and lock your money in a liquidity pool, and whatever that pool is generating, you'll have some interest to get from that pool. So that's also another way to invest your money. Yeah, so those way your money is not losing value or whatever. You're just locking your money and then getting some interest off it. Another way is buying a token and holding it till it grows. Some people that bought Solana some early times in last 2 years and all of that were rejoicing when Solana went to I think $200 or so. So yes.
Okay. Thank you. Another question is this. Are you still with me, ma'am?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You talked about this thing in NFT, which you're saying something about game, music, and ad. Okay, let's take for instance now, if I'm running ad for people on the channel, like someone's TikTok channel, YouTube channel, or Facebook channel, I run ads for them. How can I convert that to NFT?
If you run what? Sorry, I didn't get you.
Ad for people on TikTok and YouTube. So how can I convert it to NFT?
Did you say ad like advertisement or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, adverts
Okay, you want to convert adverts
to
to
NFT.
anything. Okay, that's very new. That's very new. Converting actually anything can actually be converted to an NFT. Do you know of
Okay.
OpenSea?
What is it?
Do you know of OpenSea?
OpenSea. I'm searching it now as you are saying it. You told the other person, so I just
Yeah.
open it on my laptop now.
Okay. Yes. On OpenSea, you can actually convert anything. That I think in 2020, 2022, 2022, yes, where the NFT it was a very, very crazy era for NFT. A lot of things were made NFTs. A whole lot of things were made NFTs. So anything can be NFT. So if you go to OpenSea and meet all the requirements and all of that, you can create an NFT of anything. And then the only thing now is for people to buy, to hold, and all of that. So if you can create it, then get people to buy, or if people see it and they see that, oh, this thing has potential, they would all buy and they will all hold, and then volume can be on the NFT that you created. Yes, so
Okay.
anything.
Lastly, this will
Okay.
be benefit. This will work for everyone. So we've had at least good theoretical aspect of these classes, which I personally I was highlighting. Though I was working through this Web3 on a particular platform. I've gotten to smart contracts. So because of this program, I just need to abandon that one and learn some new thing here. So here is the last question: is there a way that all this theory we learned we can put it in practice? Is the class going to be old in this platform? I don't know if you're in the right position to answer that question.
Sorry, I don't know. Anambra will pick up. I think this thing is directed to you because it says something about practical.
Yeah. So from next week, I think from the stuff from next week will be doing everything talks about when she talks about Uniswap, OpenSea and everything. So from next week, right, will be, so she was meant to talk about all the basic knowledge, all the things, to like get started in Web3, right? So and Billionaire herself have made it very very simple to like understand, right? So from next week, right? So everything will be practical, right? So what she did this week didn't like require practical, right? It required you to see how it's done, just like give you the head of knowledge of things you need to know. So most technical terms is talking about tokenization, um when you talk about dApps and how those things work, right? From next week, each of the mentors will be taking you through how these things work, right? So you don't have to like worry about anything, it's packaged. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. That was all about that. Thank you so much, Madam Ellen Obika.
All right, you're welcome.
I think we'll just take the last question because we have stretched our mentor past an hour. So let's take have two people. Okay, we'll just excuse me, we'll just take these two people and we are done for today. Yeah, so all project topics, yeah. Are you see? I think so, yeah. Yeah, I'm tech where I can go on, please.
And good evening, Jim. So actually, my question is that I want to ask, um, does it mean that decentralization there's nothing like competition in the market space of decentralization? Because you were saying that in a decentralized system, when a product is being produced, it keeps track of it from the beginning till it is being supplied to, whereby everybody can know what is being done in the chain. So what I'm asking now, like in the let me say in a normal market space, a company or like a company, two companies might be producing the same thing, but the other company will be like hiding some distinctive value from the other company, so they cannot know each other how they make their things unique. That's because they are competitors within themselves. So are you trying to tell me in decentralization whereby the public will know from the beginning of what you are producing to the end that there's nothing like competition?
Yeah, that's actually very, very okay. That's actually a very, very tricky question. So you said, am I trying to say that there will be no okay, you're talking about people having special ingredients, right? Special ingredients and all of that. I think that
Yeah.
would I think that would still play. That would still play in as who is calling me? In as much as everything would be seen on the blockchain. In as much as everything would be seen on the blockchain, it's going to be transparent for everybody. But I think that would still play in the sense that um when you're creating something, when you're creating whatever product you're creating, they might not necessarily see the style. Like they might not necessarily like it's not be a video. I don't know, do you get, it's not be, oh, we video how you put this and how you not put that. Your secret ingredients might not actually be an ingredient. It might actually just be the style of how you produce your stuff. Do you get? For example, if you're cooking a food now, if you put seasoning cube at the beginning of the food, it will not be the same thing as when you put seasoning cube when you're like almost ending of the food. I don't know if you get me. So might not necessarily record your process, but it would show like all the ingredients that are used for production. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, please, ma. Just my brief question. I'm trying to look at it. The Web3 you just delivered. The thing it's sounding more like make believe because I'm sure, number one, this thing did not fall from heaven. Somebody created it or a team. It was an innovation. It happened to be an innovation. Now, do you want to tell me that the innovators still would not be able to manipulate their system, whether now or maybe in the near future? That's my number one question about manipulation of this system. Then another side of it is that it looks more like a free world because you said anybody, people own anything they want, they can do anything they want. Would it not create for lawlessness where people cannot adhere to laws and then they also cannot be penalized? For example, we may say that nobody will post a photo of himself except maybe laptops, and then people are posting what you said should not be posted. There will be lawlessness in this kind of system. What are the arrangements, or rather, will I call it precaution, taken against such scenarios as this? What we call strength, would it not turn out to be weakness in the near future? I don't know your opinion on this. Thank you very much.
Okay. I actually like the way you think. I like that you had to like wait. You know, some people are just taking this and then they're not actually weighing the other aspect of all these things. Yes. So yes, blockchain was for the first question. Blockchain was created by people. I think I answered this in I think the last class or the first class. Somebody asked a similar question. Blockchain was created by people, just like the internet or any other technology. I mean, nothing actually falls from heaven, like you said. Yes, but the difference here is that the technology was built to be decentralized. That's how they built the system. It was built to be decentralized, meaning once it's live, no single person or group can control or shut it down. So yes, it was built by somebody, but once it's live, no single person or group can control or shut it down. Now, then the other question where you said, would the decentralized system not create lawlessness? Now, the thing is, community are going to be the one to set the rules. Community are going to be the one to set the rules. The decentralized system is not going to bring about lawlessness. It's just going to mean that control is shared, not in the hands of one company. Like I said, everybody has control. Everybody will be the one to have the control. So if there's if there's any rule that would be set, it will not be set by just Elon Musk. It would be set by the community. So if the community say, oh, there's not going to be any nude or foul picture on the social media, then you adhere to it. Because why? The rule was already set by the community. Remember, I said something about casting votes. So it is for the communities, community driven. So community will set the rules, not just one person. Community will set the rules. That's why voting would be there. And you're going to adhere to the rule because it was set by the community. You're going to adhere to the rules because it was set by the community. So some platform actually use community voting to take actions against harmful content. If we all cast a vote and say, oh, there won't be any harmful content on social media, then you adhere to it. Do you understand? So yes, there's going to be freedom. Do you get? But it's going to be based on what the community wants. We are the community. If everybody here has Anambra Web3 conference say there's not going to be any harmful content on that group chat, then you would follow the rules, because we all voted that there will be no harmful content on social media. Do you understand? So instead of one company deciding here, the community has a say. The community has a say. All right. So did I answer your question?
Yes,
All
thank you
right.
very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think that is the end for week 1. Right. Honestly said, I appreciate everyone that made it to now. And also I want to appreciate our mentor. Can you please let's put our hands together with our emojis, screaming and shouting. To our mentor, right? She has been amazing. Right. So I want us to do something. I want everyone to like unmute their mic. I want everyone to like unmute their mic. Just unmute your mic, unmute your mic. I want us to say something. So I want everyone to unmute their mic. Please, if you are here, this unmute your mic, unmute your mic, unmute your mic. I think someone just gave us a word. Since I want everybody here to scream and shout a million thank you to mentor Helen Obiako for teaching us well. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yeah. So a million thank you to mentor Helen Obiako for teaching us well. Let's go. 1, 2, ready, go.
A
Million
million
thanks
thanks
to
to
our mentor, Helen Ubika.
Helen
Hey,
Obiako.
let's do it together. Let's do it together. We say a million thank you to our mentor Helen Obiako for teaching us well.
Please just say Raven.
Okay, let's say a million thank you to mentor
Can
David
we
for
get
teaching us.
a LinkedIn handle?
Yeah, I wish. Okay, link down, dog. Don't worry, I will share it. So
Go
let's
on
go.
Twitter. That's right.
A million thank you to our to mentor Raven for teaching us well. Let's go, guys. 1, 2, ready, go.
A million thank you
Million
to
thank you.
David. Thank you for teaching us well.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. See you guys next week. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. See you guys next week. Have a good evening.